You are now tuned in to Atlanta's hottest radio show.
Our stories from our studio to your ear. It's the Beyond Swanky podcast.
With your host, Kennedy Lucas. On Swanky 93.3 radio station. The Heat 94.6 radio station.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast. This is the Beyond Swanky podcast with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. Welcome back to another exciting podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys are ready for this, another exciting podcast as we head into the weekend. Of course, I'm looking at my cast and, well, my producers and my crew. T, he's here. Monica, she's here. Arthur and Addison, they're both here for today's podcast. James is in the back. And we have Beatrice. She was here earlier. I think she might have left for today. But welcome back to another exciting podcast, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am your host again, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. I am glad to be back on the podcast. I'm a little stunned because it took me an hour to get to the studio. Boy, let me tell you, it's outside's getting crazy, right? I have to hit 285 to get to the studio. And there's this car that broke down and it made me late. And I was already agitated a little bit, but we're going to make this a good podcast because I've got a lot of things to talk about. But boy, oh boy, man, somebody's traffic is getting worse. They're working on the 285. Y'all know, if y'all live in Atlanta, you know about 285. They're doing construction. They're rebuilding stuff. And it's just been, I don't know, I get so agitated when we're in traffic, whether it's road work. And on the way to the studio, the car broke down. It was old school BMW. The car broke down in the middle of the highway, causing deep traffic. And then on my way to the studio, and guys, I'm not just complaining about traffic stuff the entire podcast because we've got some things, but coming through 285 and getting to the studio, people driving extremely slow. And I'm like, damn, I got to get to the studio. I got to get to this podcast, this radio show. But we made it. Safe and sound, as always, blessed and highly favored, and make sure we make it safe and sound because, you know, here in Atlanta, there's a lot of accidents, right? So I pride myself to make sure that I drive extremely careful when it comes down to it. So, like I say, made it to the studio, made it for the radio show of course, the Beyond Swanky podcast with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas on the Heat 94.6 and Swanky 93.3. I just wanted to thank our fan base so far. Our numbers have been really good. I check the numbers almost every day, right? When it comes to every show that we do, I always got to check the numbers, right? Because I know with podcasts, we do the podcast and we have fun too, but I like them numbers, right? Numbers it just shows that we're working hard for something and a lot of people are liking it. We had a plus of 30 subscribers on each. Well, yeah, 30 subscribers. I think Swanky was 32 and then the Heat was 36, but a plus of 30 subscribers on our radio station. So I'm very excited. So that's an add-on to our subscriber count. You guys have been enjoying it. So I thank you guys. I really do. Saying we're going to make sure that we continue on this train, continue on the podcasting train. I enjoy doing it. I really love doing podcasting. So let's talk about some things, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've got a lot that we got to talk about. And this is based off news from today. And then later on in the show, I do have a story, a personal, well, not a personal story, but just kind of like, you guys know how I do it when it comes to our stories for sure. But we got to talk about some things that happened today, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing that happened today, we got to talk about that state of play from PlayStation. So you guys know we review a lot of gaming, right? A lot of gaming, a lot of films, a lot of TV shows, and that's just our market, right? We all saw, until you saw it too, we all saw the State of Play event today. It was kind of a surprise kind of thing because I remember we didn't know we were going to get State of Play until they tweeted about it, and then it's been all over social media. So everybody has given their take. I know I watched one reaction video. I'm going to watch all the other, my favorite YouTubers, they do reaction videos and their first person impressions. But the first impression video that I saw on YouTube was John from Spawnwave. He gave his thoughts about the press conference, the state of play, and I just got to say first off, because I'm going to give you guys my full analysis of this state of play, but this goes to show you that this is why PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox, they're not going to do E3 this year, right? They're going to do it to where they're going to continue doing Nintendo Direct, Xbox developers, and State of Play, right? Because I'm sure PlayStation saved a lot of money tonight when it came down to premiering their State of Play. Now, we didn't get so much of information, right? I didn't anticipate us getting a lot of gaming news because it is February. We're heading into March. I'm sure they're going to announce a lot of bigger games like May, June area where it's time for quote unquote E3 season, which again, they're not going to E3, but when it comes about June where the bigger games get announced, we're going to see more information. Now, we did get to see the first thing that they showed was the PlayStation VR. I skipped over that because even though these games for PlayStation VR is great, the problem, this is what Sean said on RGT85, that channel. This is another great YouTuber I follow. This is the problem with the VRT. My problem with the VR is the price, right? This VR headset, and I think we talked about it in previous podcasts, but this VR headset is ranging at $600. Now, you got to think $600 for this headset, a couple of dollars for taxes, and then you got to go out and buy games for it. So you're looking at almost $1,000 invested into this VR headset, and only including that $1,000 if you don't have a PlayStation 5, which nowadays is more easier to get a PlayStation 5 nowadays. But now you got to add on to the console because you got to have the console to play with the VR headset. So again, you're looking at over maybe $1,000 for the whole shebang. So it's crazy expensive right now about the costing of this gaming console. So that's why a lot of YouTubers are saying that the PlayStation VR is going to have problems. It's cool. It's a nifty thing there, but will I be getting the PlayStation VR 2? No, not for $600. I think PlayStation VR will be more accepted when it goes on sale. Let's just be honest, because a lot of folks now, and I said this, and I just said this on the last Beyond Swanky podcast, but I did say that gaming has become premium. Right? You're paying a premium price for gaming nowadays. It's not like the old days where you can go and buy a video game and really have fun with it. No, gaming has become premium. So a lot of people are getting very resourceful. A lot of people are getting very secretive. A lot of people are really sheltering their money flow when it comes down to gaming. I'm a prime example to it. Now, we try to buy games so we can get our articles out and review on our shows and stuff, but even myself, I have to be kind of careful about what I'm spending in gaming, right? Because like I say, video games have become premium. So that's what I feel like a lot of people didn't really care too much about the games that got announced for PlayStation VR at the State of Play today, because a lot of folks are not thinking about it. Now, like I say, for me, I'm overlooking PlayStation VR. I am, because I'm not about to drop $600 for a VR headset when I can go and get the Quest Oculus 2 for $300, right? So it's kind of sad, but they're pushing a lot on it because it's getting ready. It just came out, so of course there's going to be a lot of push for it. We did get to see, and we saw some indie games. They're indie, I'm not harping too badly on the indie games, but I don't know. I want to go ahead and talk about the big boys, T. So the big boys that got kind of announced and more on was Street Fighter 6. We did get to see 3 new characters, Zangief, Cammy. Let me tell you, Zangief kind of gets a new look, but he kind of looks the same. Cammy gets a completely new look, right? And y'all remember the commercial? Well, it's not a commercial, but the gameplay that they showed, and she did kind of a seductive, sexy type of stretch. I wonder how much people are going to roast that, right? We're in this political society where, hey, some people might find that to be a little bit sexist. I thought that was very interesting that they showed that, right? I didn't know that they were going to share that on that gameplay necessarily, but Cammy gets a new look, and I'm digging it, right? Because she's got a kind of a haircut, but she kind of has a little swoop in the front. She was kind of like, if you look at the Street Fighter series, she's kind of like military type. But in this, I feel like she's going rogue, right? I don't know too much about her backstory in Street Fighter 6. The game comes out in June. So I'm very excited to explore more and see what's the backstory about Cammy. Is she going rogue? Did she leave her military job? Is she finding herself, right? That's the thing that I'm very, very excited for her when it comes down to it. So Cammy gets a new look. We get introduced to this new character. Her name is Lily, and I'm very interested about Lily because now she has a different type of move sets that I don't think we've seen before in Street Fighter. So I'm very interested to see her backstory when it comes to Street Fighter 6. Honestly, I do think that this game is going to be beautiful. I can't wait because right now we have a lot of games lined up, right? February, we have Hogwarts. March, we're gonna have what is it? Star Wars Jedi Survivor, right? Which I'm surprised that we didn't get to see so much in today's state of play of that game. I know a lot of people have been doing gameplay and they've been doing their first impressions of like the first couple of minutes of the game. So I'm surprised that we didn't get to see anything from a Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I was kind of hoping that because the game is scheduled to come out in April, right? So I was kind of hoping we would see that. But again, we've got Hogwarts in February. We didn't see gameplay of this, but I've been keeping my eye on it. Wulong: The Fallen Dynasty. Now that game didn't get showed at the State of Play today, but the game comes out in March 3rd. So that might be the March game for PlayStation. You got Star Wars Jedi Survival in April, and then in May, you got Suicide Squad. So I've seen Suicide Squad now. And then in June, you got Street Fighter 6. And then, E3 announces what's coming up next. But the meat and potatoes of State of Play was Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Now, here is my take. I'm still going to pick up the game because I love Rocksteady. I think Rocksteady is a phenomenal game developer. I think Warner Brothers Montreal should take some notes from Rocksteady because Rocksteady Studios is the studio that created all three of the Arkham games. So you're thinking Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, the Batman games. And I feel like, with Warner Brothers Montreal, with Gotham Knights, maybe they should take notes. Anyway, I'm kind of on the fence about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League T. I was kind of hoping that they would have it the same development style as, let's say, Arkham Knight, right? I played Arkham Knight. I enjoyed Arkham Knight. I enjoyed all the Arkham games, really. But I like all of them. I like the Arkham Knight games or the Arkham type games. So when we saw gameplay of this game, now the game's still in development, kind of, because it comes out in May, so it's still kind of in development. They're adding some things to it, but I'm kind of skeptical. I'm skeptical about the character development, right? Because based off what I seen at State of Play today, is you have Harley Quinn to have kind of a different moveset than the rest, but I feel like the remaining three, so that's Captain Boomerang, Deathstroke, not Deathstroke, is his name Deathstroke? I think his name is Deathstroke. I'm gonna Google that now. I should know that. And King Shark. Now's the thing where it's just kind of like, okay, will this be a good game? Right? That's one thing that I am very skeptical about because these characters seem like they're the same, right? The moveset looks the same. Maybe we're judging it a little early because the game comes out in May, so we still have time. But it seems like every character is about the same, right? except for Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn has kind of a different moveset when it comes down to it, but everybody else seems like they're the same, right? And I didn't really have too much fun of everybody using the same type of weapon. I was kind of hoping that each character will have their own different style of weaponry that's customized to them. But based off what I saw at State of Play, I felt like, okay, Harley Quinn is going to have the same machine gun as King Shark. King Shark's going to have the same as Deathstroke. Right? Killer Shark's going to have the same, I'm thinking of it, a shotgun. Same shotgun as Captain Boomerang. But just the different skins and different colors. So I was kind of hoping that each weapon will be different. I was kind of hoping the combat style of each character would be different. Maybe they are. Right? Maybe they are. Maybe we're judging the book before it's cover. Right? And that's, as journalists and game reviews, we do that. We judge a little bit. So I'm just a little bit skeptical about this game now because of based off what I've seen. And this goes back to my point, T, where games are premium. Going back to my first statement, games are premium. So as us journalists and game reviewers and gamers as a whole in the gaming community, we're looking at games and we're critiquing game development very carefully because it's $70 that these developers and publishers are asking from us consumers, right? $70, that's premium. So now when we look at video games, I'm looking, especially with me, when I'm looking at a video game, I'm looking at the reviews, I'm looking at the style, I'm looking at gameplay footage, I'm in my mind, I'm saying, okay, is this going to be a game that I'm genuinely going to enjoy? And that's what scares a lot of game developers, but it is what it is. Are we going to be in the same light of things when it comes down to wanting to spend $70 for a game that may or may not be good, right? So that's my critique on that, and they drilled on that for the last 20, 25, 30 minutes of State of Play. It was all Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. And it's good to see more characters. Like, we get to see Flash, we saw Wonder Woman, we saw Superman. I don't know. This might be a woke analogy. I don't know. I'm about to go there though. Green Lantern, we see Jon Stewart, right? We didn't see I forgot Green Lantern's name, but we saw Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, he's a character. He's the Black Green Lantern, is what we saw in the trailer. So I'm okay. I don't know. This might be a woke analogy, I guess. I don't know. I don't care. But I'm happy to see Jon Stewart, right? Out of the Green Lanterns, Jon Stewart is always my favorite Lantern. So it's very, very good to see what looked like Jon Stewart in this trailer. So I'm excited to see the growth of that. We saw Batman, Superman, we saw Wonder Woman. That's not under Brainiac's brain, right? Another critique. Again, I'm just reviewing and criticizing right now, guys. I might be jumping the gun. This game might be amazing. I don't know. But we didn't see a different map, right? And I know it's supposed to be in Gotham and Metropolis, and I get that it's supposed to be main base there, but I really do hope that we have different locations. I hope it's not a huge... Okay, let me walk that back to you, because I wouldn't mind if it's a huge open world with different locations of Metropolis and Gotham. I want it to be different locations. I don't want it to be one big map and that's it, right? Because that, to me, is like, okay, I don't know, because we got this one big map and that's it. Like, where's Gotham City? Where's Arkham City? Where's different locations, right? So I hope that we get to see different locations of the game itself. But like I say, I might be jumping the gun. A lot of people were disappointed with State of Play, but I went into the intentions knowing that it's February. So I know we're not going to get a lot of information when it comes down to State of Play. I feel like we're going to get a bigger State of Play come summertime, right? When there's E3 season, quote unquote, because E3 is dead. But when we get down to the nitty gritty of summertime, where we get to see more, I mean, they're gonna harp on Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League team, and then round June, Street Fighter will be out. They're gonna be probably offer some additional content, and then that's when they start rolling out Spider-Man 2, right? That's when they're gonna start, and then maybe PlayStation might surprise us with more games, right? So, like I say, I didn't go into the intentions knowing that we're gonna get a big state of play today. I was kind of hoping that we would see Star Wars Jedi Survivor, just a little bit of gameplay with that, because it is coming out in April. So, like it or not, April's going to be around the corner, but who knows? Yeah, this is one of those things. This is a thing that hopped on my feed over in TikTok and Facebook today, and ET reported. So I'm just going to report on it a little bit. Dwayne Johnson gets pulled over and teases police about having guns. So, man, if he was not a celebrity, he would be arrested. He teased about guns, but he was showing his arms, his muscles. But I thought this was a funny thing that he did it for TikTok, and I thought it was funny, but it was just like, man, that must be good to be powerful like that, because Dwayne Johnson's The Rock. He's very powerful, very rich, very influenced. But I feel like if he was just an average black man, and I'm not trying to be woke and political on the show, T, but if he was, he probably would have been arrested, shot down, right? Cops would have probably been super scared. But it's good to see that Dwayne Johnson is safe. It's interesting that he got pulled over, though. I wonder what he did. But honestly, if I was a cop and I saw Dwayne Johnson, I would have been like, me being a crooked cop or not, but if I saw Dwayne Johnson, I'd say, I will let you go. Can I just get a selfie? That's it. That's all I want. Just to say I met Dwayne Johnson. Boom, there's a picture. All right, you're free to go, Mr. Johnson. That's the power of celebrity, right? Power of celebrity. Now, just had to get that little quick thing out there, T. Now, we've got to talk about this review, and this is a kind of another review from me. Kind of not really, T, right? Because we only saw one episode, so I can't really review off one episode. BelAir season 2 is here. Now they're rolling that with intentions where every Thursday we get a newer episode. I kind of like that, right? Because if BelAir dropped all their seasons today, I would have been so sleepy tomorrow, because I would be up all night watching BelAir season 2. So season 2 is available, episode 1 that is, and this is going to be where we on the podcast, every Beyond the Swanky podcast, we talk about an episode from a show that we're watching. Currently, we're doing that now with The Last of Us, which real quick, T, and we've got it. We're going to talk about BelAir, but it was so funny. Episode 6, where people paused episode 6. Film crew was actually on the scene, to the side. It was the scene where Joel and Ellie was crossing the bridge. It was a snowy area, and to the left, you could see the film crew. And I laughed when I saw that on social media, and I said, the editors did not catch that? I mean, that's just simple, though. Right? It's a simple thing where editors did not catch film crew on episode 6 of The Last of Us. And what's funny is I didn't catch it, right? And that's what's so wild to me, because I didn't catch it. And then when I saw it on social media, I went back to watch it, and I said, yeah, that's camera crew. They're to the left. They're just like, they're filming, and they probably had a drone or a helicopter fly over for the shot. I'm like, editors, wow, y'all really didn't catch that. And it's supposed to be like a pop to look at, like post a pop. I can't even say it, T. It's the end of the world in the show, right? So I thought it was very interesting that they didn't catch that. Editors didn't, directors didn't. But I mean, honestly, the show's still good, right? It's like a oops, but like the show's still good. Episode 7 is gonna be good, right? So I'm not worried about the show sucking because of that. It does sucks that the editors didn't catch that. I hope that we don't see more of that in future episodes. But that's so interesting. I thought that was very, very interesting. Like I say, the show's still good. But back to the point, the Beyond Swanky podcast is where we're going to be talking about every episode. Currently, we're doing that with The Last of Us, episode 6, or the series in general. But BelAir, episode 1 is here, and you get a glimpse of Will Smith, the character, slinging dope. Right, he leaves the Banks mansion, which I never leave that nice of a house in California, never. But of course, if you missed out, go back and watch episode 1. You'll understand what happened. But episode 2, after events of season 1, episode 1 of season 2, Will leaves the house, starts slinging dope, and then he's getting contacted with this guy named I forgot. I'm blanking on the name of the character. He goes by the Doc. You know, he's recruiting boys to play basketball and hustle for money. It's kind of a street ball, right? Street ball, hustling for money. It can be illegal. It can be dangerous. So Will is trying to get into that life because he wants to be out there making money and then to show his basketball talents. Meanwhile, you get a glimpse of, in episode 1, you get a glimpse of Ashley. She turns 13 and she's really trying to understand life and, you know, trying to be a little bit more, I want to say a little bit more woke, if you will, in this episode. She haven't told her parents that she is in the community, and she misses Will, right? She wants Will to be at her birthday, and Will and Uncle Phil makes amends with each other, and Will moves back into the Banks Manor. Of course, Uncle Phil, he didn't get district attorney. Again, watch season 1 if you missed out. Season 2, he didn't get district attorney. Now he becomes a lawyer. I feel like he's going to be more avid when Will probably gets in trouble with the street ball, and Will's going to need a lawyer, right? So a lot of things will start to come out. A lot of things will start to brew. You got Jazz and Hillary. Hillary is played by none other than Miss Coco Jones. They're going to have a love interest more often in this season 2. Carlton is figuring some things out, right? With his anxiety, he's losing his friends that played what's the sport, T? Lacrosse. That's the sport, lacrosse. And of course, Carlton's trying to figure some things out. And then, of course, Unveiled is trying to figure out her thing out on Vivian. Vivian Banks is trying to figure her thing out with Art, but then she tries to handle things on her own. Of course, you got Miss Karrueche Tran. Karrueche fine. That's one fine girl right there. Karrueche Tran is in the season now, and now she's becoming more of a influencer. Her character's an influencer, but I feel like her and Hillary are going to have a rivalry in season 2 because she is all about her brand. Hillary's about bringing the brand and having a partnership, and there's a whole bunch of things will come back. Jeffrey G, the butler, not butler, the house manager, if you will, in this show, he's trying to kind of step away, but I feel like he's going to come back into season 2 to help protect the Banks family as well. And like I say, back, ladies and gentlemen, to get started, you know, that's just episode 1. Go see episode 1 right now on Peacock. T up in the building. Monica, she's it's here. A good James, one. It's a show you guys Addison did leave out, but she was. I like BelAir. I like still kicking it around. Everybody is streaming service BelAir for the podcast and Swanky Studios. We cover again each episode. I can't thank you guys enough. Season 2. I can't wait to see what unfolds for season 2. I can't. Now we're gonna take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, guys, really well, I have a topic that I want to talk about on the podcast. Numbers been up, too. No going right. Anywhere. We've been up, so I appreciate it. We're doing our very best to continue this train of giving you guys some great content when it comes down to our SNN, our Vox News, our podcast shows. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Coming from this wonderful week, we had a great week. Give you guys a little behind the scenes. And I announced it on Instagram, but Street Style Homecoming will hit the 2-hour mark. We filmed, I can give you guys this. We edited about an hour and 20 minutes of this documentary, and I was combing through our footage in our servers where we keep all our footage. It's a lot of footage that we did from New York. So like I say, this documentary will hit 2 hours, right? Maybe over 2 hours, because it's just so much footage that we caught from either New York Fashion Week, me filming, us eating, us touring. That trip has been very fantastic. I think I gotta say, T, New York for us in 2023 was much better than last year's New York trip by far. Gotta say it, because of the footage that we caught was amazing. So again, Street Style Homecoming is well underway in post-production. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to announce when the movie comes out, but it takes time. It takes months to get things edited. So be patient. I know a lot of people did ask us, hey, when's the documentary coming out? Hey, when's the documentary? It's gonna take a minute, right? It's a process. And then this summer, and we announced this today, actually. Yes, we are developing my first noir film this summer. It is going to be titled 1943. It's about events in 1943 and what goes down in the year 1943 when it comes down to the culture, civil unrest, society, that's and murder and mystery, noir. That is the premise of my newest film in production this summer, 1943. Again, we got my man Chris Goodman. Chris Goodman is an actor that played President Chandler in Hardline second term. So very, very excited. Very, very, very excited for that. And I'm in this movie too, 1943. So yes. But moving on, guys, I have a topic of conversation today. You can click on this podcast to hear about K.L.P Entertainment News. So this is a conversation. It is an open-ended conversation because I don't have Coco in the studio. He's doing his show today. He's off today. But this is a topic of conversation that I want to propose to us here in the studio. But I also want to propose this to people that might be listening to the podcast today. I have a friend that tells me that I'm not going to name who they are, right? Because I want to keep them anonymous. Close friend of mine says that they feel that when they work and they have hard days at work and they're stressed about work, they come home stressed about work. Yes, you guys know where I'm going with this. I've had it to where I might have talked about this on previous podcast shows before. And when my close friend, when they were telling me this that day, I got really sad for them, T. I did, because I feel that we all have that job where we do it because it makes us a lot of money. We do it because of the benefits, right? We do it because we have to. But then most of us, myself included, have side hustles, right? Outside of K.L.P Entertainment and outside of the institution, not going to name the name, I have other things, right? To where if I'm not in my physical office, right, I'm in my other office doing another task or another thing. My friend was telling me that they would feel they would bring it home and their significant other could tell, right? And when their significant other could tell that they're having a hard time, they feel that it trumps their relationship, right? They feel that it makes their relationship harder, right? To where, and they were telling me this that day, that they said, hey, if something doesn't get done at this job, they lose sleep at night. They lose sleep at night because they're thinking about what they didn't get done. Well, to my friend, if they are listening to this podcast, and to many other people, it's kind of a PSAT, I have to say, stop. I have to say, stop worrying about if you leave work at work, you don't have to bring it home. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm guilty. I used to be that man where if I get pissed off at work, and trust me, I have my days where I'm pissed off at work. I do. Whether it's in the institution, whether it's at the K.L.P entertainment offices, the studio. If we film something and the film didn't go right, I'm pissed. Right? And I used to bring it home. Back in the day, when I brought it home, I didn't sleep well. I'm stressed. My heart rate is pumping. My blood is boiling. I'm not thinking straight. I'm not eating correctly. Right? These things are bad habits. I did go to the gym, right? But as I continue on, I make sure that I didn't bring it home. And I think we all need to know about this. Now, this is the thing, and I don't know too much about this term. It's called quiet quitting. I don't know too much about it, right? That's been the latest trend. I read some things on it. And from my understanding, quiet quitting is making sure that you leave things at work. So when you're off, and you're not on that clock, quote unquote, you're not thinking about it. So to a degree, I use quiet quitting myself too. Because like I say, back in the day, I would bring that work home. Right? Whether it was from, and I can't say it was from GDN because GDN was awesome. We got an announcement about GDN and alumni podcast later on, by the way. I enjoyed GDN. When I did hospitality industry, first I started, it was fun, but when it got stressful, I brought it home. Right? To where I wasn't feeling myself. To where I failed one of my college, and this is when I was in college too. I failed one of my college courses because I was so stressed out at work. Right? Fast forward into working for Amazon. Worst job you can ever have, by the way. Love Amazon, love Prime Video, but to be a delivery or operations in Amazon's warehousing and delivery service, that was the worst job I've had. Because it was very taxing, it was very hard, and it was a lot of work. I would bring my stress, my anxiety, my pain home. And then at that time, shout out, and I doubt he's listening, but shout out to Travis Malloy. He's an R&B soul singer, gospel singer. I listened to his album, Faith Journey, that year, 2021, and he really got me uplifted. So again, this is a plug for him. Go listen to all his albums. He's an amazing singer, by the way. Terrific singer. But to the point, I would bring this stuff home. And as I invest in my future endeavors, now I learn to not bring work home. We have to get in that society. We have to understand, don't bring your work home with you. And that's what I was telling my friend, because she felt so, I felt when she told me that, I felt the sadness in her eyes. Because I can read people. Taurus bulls, we can read people. I read it. And I said to myself, I said to my friend, friend. I looked at her and said, why? Why are you stressed about this? Right? Because you know, first of all, you're the GOAT, because they are. They work really hard too. You work really hard. You give to the community. You've done all that is required for you to do. Why are you upset? No person should never have to be so pissed off and so stressed that they bringing it home. Because hell, when I come home, I ain't think about nothing. I'll be honest with you guys. When I come home, if it's not late, I'm thinking about what I'm going to cook for dinner. And if I'm off tomorrow, I say, I think I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. I think I'm going to meditate in the house tomorrow. I might play Hogwarts Legacy tomorrow. I might watch the latest episode of The Last of Us tomorrow. Or tonight. Those are the things I'm thinking about when I get home. Right? I do this thing too, where when I get home, and I tell my friends this too, because just in case if my friends and siblings want to reach out to me after work, I say, reach out to me during the day, because when I get home, my phone is on Do Not Disturb. It is. I'll be honest. No bullshit. My phone is on Do Not Disturb. I'm not even looking at emails, whether it's my personal or both my work emails. I'm not looking at anything. I'm not looking at a work calendar. I'm not looking at podcast stats. I'm not looking at nothing when I get home. Maybe the only thing I'm looking at is my homework assignment, because you guys know I'm a grad student. So maybe I'm looking at that when I get home. Maybe, because I mean, that's different. But anything work that I'm at home for, I'm not looking for it. Unless it's a work from home day, right? So I told my friend, I said, stop worrying. Don't bring that home. Because she has a significant other as well. Don't bring that home. And I told him, friend, that will eat you up. And you said you're not sleeping well. You said that you're not eating right. She didn't say that part, but you're saying you're doing all these things that's something you shouldn't be doing. Don't bring your work home with you, sweetheart. Keep it at work. That's the time, that's the place for it. I have this thing in both my offices, because yes, I have 2 offices here in Atlanta. I wrote this quote on both offices. I said, this is a positive vibes office only. I think I mentioned this before, but it's true. This is a positive mindset office only. Any negativity must leave this area. Right? Because shout out to my sister Deamber. She told me about negative and positive energy. Right? You can sense negative energy. Negative energy is people who conserves negative energy, negative people. If you have a lot of unnecessary junk, that consumes negative energy. Right? If you ever, and you guys never will, because you never know where I live. But my house, positive energy. I got rid of some stuff. I saged my house before. Saging is a good form of positive energy, right? So you got to find ways to create positive energy in your space. And that's probably what I'm thinking that my friend, they're doing. They have so much negative items in there, either whether it's at home, I don't know what's at their home, but at home or in their office, clear out all the negative energy out. Right? Here's another thing, and this is kind of not a political thing, but if you guys listening, if you're friends with the man upstairs, like I am, very spiritual, pray. Right? I pray every night. I pray every morning when I get in the car and say, Lord, please I ask that in your holiness, make sure I make it to work on time. Make sure I don't catch anything like coronavirus or bacteria. Watch over my family, Lord, please. My siblings, I love them. Watch over them. Watch over my parents, right? I pray. Right? Another thing, and my friend does this too, spread positive energy. Right? And in the workplace, maybe you might have somebody that starts gossip or may have a problem. They're creating that negative energy to go around. Right? I've been in jobs before where somebody may not be happy with their own lives, so they feel like they got to spread that negative energy because they don't want to feel alone. That's another thing too. When I'm not in the offices, I'm doing positive stuff. I'm working on me. I got so much dope stuff going on. I'm not worried about people, because people can create negative energy. Actually, people are the number one source of negative energy. Negative people, that is. Right? Where people may not like somebody or don't like what they're doing, or they want to gossip about somebody else. No, that you're creating that negative energy. And it's very draining to people who are positive. So what I started doing, because I've heard it in my work experience in the workforce, and I've been in the workforce for about 10 years now, I've had it to where people start talking negative. whether it's about them, about their job, about people, about what they got going on. They want to spread that negative energy because they don't want to feel alone. But here's what I do. I take it, I partially listen to it, and then I started thinking about, man, what kind of tacos do I want later tonight? Oh, I'm gonna sleep so good tonight. I cannot wait. Oh, the latest episode of BelAir comes out tonight. I cannot wait. See what I did there, guys? I turned whatever they said into my own positive thoughts, and I get very excited about what I got going on. Right? It's the same thing when I'm on my way and I was driving through traffic. I was like, damn, I gotta get to the studio. But then I was kind of excited because I'm like, yes, I'm going to the studio to do a pod. I'm so excited. Right? That's what you have to do. I've done that, guys. And let me tell you, I've been sleeping so well. I have. Because I know when I'm at work and like I say, I have my days now. I ain't gonna say I'm happy all the time. I have my days where I'm pissed off at work, but when I come home, I am not pissed anymore. When I come home, I am the happiest man in the world, I feel, because I have a nice warm bed, first off. I have a nice cooked meal. I have a nice couch and a nice TV. I'm going to plop my ass and I'm going to watch some TV. I'm going to turn on my PlayStation 5. I'm going to play Hogwarts. Like I'm the happiest man in the world. So back to my point, we have to get into the mindset of, I'm guessing quiet quitting, because quiet quitting is, there's some things there. But we got to get into the habit of not bringing your work home with you. And I mean, don't bring the stress, don't bring the people, don't bring the negativity, and don't bring the negativity in your mind. Work is work. Work is always going to be there. Don't bring that home. Right? Especially, I've seen it. I've seen it currently. People with negativity, they bring that home to their significant others. Right? Somebody with negative energy, because they're just negative, they bring it home to their significant others. Now their significant others have a feeling about it. They don't want to tolerate it. Right? Especially all you married motherfuckers out there. If you bring a negative energy in your home, talk about a bad marriage. Right? So don't bring it home. That's my PSAT, because a lot of folks are doing that. My friend was very sad about it, and I felt very sad for her, because you should never bring stress home from work. You should never bring negativity home from work. If you got to set hours, if you're one of those persons that use the clock system, when you clock out, you ain't about your work no more. You're about heading home, and you're about being human. Loving what you got. See, a lot of people, referring back to the negative people, a lot of people are jealous about what you got going on. Right? Trust me, I've seen that every day. Currently, there's a lot of people don't like what I got going on. A lot. I had somebody stalk me one time. That's true, T. They stalked me. They stalked my TikTok. They like, I don't like how you doing that. But still laughing, because it doesn't matter. Right? Because guess what? They don't like that you successful. They don't like that you doing dope stuff. So they're going to try to tear you down. Right? So we have to stop. We have to stop thinking. First of all, stop thinking about what people think. And two, don't bring it home. Like I say, let's say I got somebody pissed me off in the office today. When I'm gone, I'm the happiest man in the world, because like I say, guess what, T? I'm going to slide in my bed tonight and I'm going to sleep like a king tonight. Can't wait. So that's my PSA, guys. Don't bring it home. Friend, if you're listening to the podcast, you know who you are. Don't bring that home. Never bring work home. Always be blessed and highly favored when you get home, because again, and it's referring, again, one more thing. We're kind of PG-13, but this is relating to 3 R's. The negative people don't matter to you unless you are friends with them, big friends, if they're financing you, or if they're fucking you. The 3 F's. Don't forget those 3 F's. Finance, fucking, feeding, friendship. I know that was kind of the 4 F's. I think it was 4. If they're not doing none of those 4 F's, they don't matter. Capiche? So that's going to wrap it up here on the podcast here today. Now, I did say before we wrap up on today's radio show, I did say that we have a special announcement. And yes, I have a special announcement here on the Beyond Swanky podcast. Of course, if you guys don't know, March 15th, Georgia Gwinnett College, GGC, will be having an alumni mixer. Cannot wait for that event. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be really good. Let me tell you why it's going to be good, because it's going to have a lot of GGC alumni. Of course, I got the message from my old friend, old boss, good friends till this day still. Matt Mahoney did share this with me, and he did this thing where, he said, attention GDN alum, March 15th, 2023, this year, 5:30 to 7:30 at Cosmos Pizza Social. It's $5 admissions. Pre-registration is encouraged. So I'm pretty sure GDN is going to be there. So what I ended up doing was reaching out to all of GGC alum to get them on the podcast. And guess who responded back to me, T? Miss Ebony Naysongs Liggins. Now, Naysongs, she goes by Naysongs because she is an artist. She's a producer. She's a director. She's the GOAT. But I knew her as Ebony Liggins. Now, she was the first ever director for Grizzlies Digital Network back in, I want to say she started in 2012, right? But I started in 2015. I met her and I really learned a lot from her. And she reached out to me a couple of days ago, and she's going to be out there in Atlanta. So we're going to catch her. She's going to be on the podcast. Yes, March 4th is when we're going to be doing a special GDN special alumni podcast. It's going to be me and her chopping it up on the mic. I'm excited to see her, number one, because it's been a couple of years since I saw her. But number two, we're going to reminisce on our GGC journey and our GDN journey. Her being the first ever director, me being the first ever president of GDN, by the way, 2016. That's a great year. Very, very excited for that. So again, stay tuned. It's going to be March 4th. That is a Saturday. We're going to pre-record actually, and then we're going to upload it later on that same day. It's going to be a GDN alumni special podcast for K.L.P. Aftermath Season 5. So I cannot wait. It's going to be a great, great show. And then on March 15th, I will be there at Cosmos Pizza Social to join in on the mixer. So I cannot wait. It's going to be good this month of March. Going back to GGC, as always, I'm like to saying GGC has my heart, because they do. I'm a huge GGC because I'm alumni, right? Class of 2020. It was a hard year for us in 2020, but I'm still a class of 2020. I am a GGC alum, so I will be going to that mixer as well. Cannot wait for that as well. But look forward to it, guys. March 4th, Ebony Nason Liggins will be on our podcast. We're going to chop it up for sure. So until then, thank you guys for staying tuned for the podcast. If you enjoyed this one, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I like to say, stay swanky, stay safe. Peace.
Studio to your ear, it's the Beyond Swanky podcast.
With your host, Kennedy Lucas, on Swanky 93.3 radio station. The Heat 94.6 radio station.